We got a special Sunday morning brunch episode of Trending in the AM as we recap the Eagles draft haul, recap the moves Eagles did and Howie Roseman made. Did Howie Roseman have a good draft weekend? We're going to talk about it. Maybe some of you will join in, maybe not. We'll see. Trending in the AM, trending in the brunch AM. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, good day, good weekend to everybody out there. Welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network, wherever you're watching. Please smash that like button, hit that share button, and of course, subscribe as we are live on YouTube and Twitter. And each and every one of those buttons is free to hit, and it does mean a great deal. We're live on Twitter as well. If you're watching over on Twitter, please enjoy, please comment. Please head on over to the STT Sports Network YouTube page and subscribe there as well. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, and the draft is over. And we've got to talk about it. No time to do a morning show tomorrow on Monday. I got some work-related things to take care of. So I wanted to jump on here for 30 minutes, an hour, 7 hours, whatever it takes to get you all in here and get all your thoughts and opinions on what Howie Roseman did this weekend, the first weekend of the draft. And, the weekend of the draft and how he did. I think it's going to be a very interesting next week discussing the results of this draft and what Howie brought in. He brought in some phenomenal talent. He reached a little bit, may have waited a little too long on a few players. So there's a lot of interesting things, certain positions he didn't address like we expected. Lots of thoughts, lots of things that went on this weekend with the draft, and I'd love to get each and every one of your opinions. Adam, right away saying, happy Sunday, Phil. Go Birds, Howie is king. The early part of the draft, Adam, 100%. I cannot stress enough how, I don't want to use the word lucky, how great it was that the Eagles were able to get Jihaad Campbell and even Andrew Mukuba, who wasn't on my top safety board, but after watching some more film on him, after reading more content on him, getting sold on him as well. And obviously Ty Robinson, the top portion of the draft, the Eagles nailed. Howie Roseman nailed it big time. Addressed needs, addressed positions, really did a phenomenal job. Trending in the Sunday, Steve says. I was trying to call it Brunch Sunday or Trending in the Brunch or Trending in the AM meets brunch, some kind of combo there. Was sad about Starks, but Campbell was a tremendous pick, instant starter. The Eagles got 2 instant starters in the first 2 rounds and a third player that will be regularly part of the rotation from day one in Ty Robinson. So his first 3 picks, round 1, 2, and 4, were phenomenal work by Howie Roseman. I was a little upset that we didn't get Malachi Starks. I did. Everybody knows I wanted Starks. And the fact that he went to the Ravens, the same place that Kyle Hamilton, who we all wanted, went, is obviously extremely frustrating and extremely sad to see. And that's why I'm trying to be patient on the Andrew Mukuba pick, because I don't want my want and desire for Malachi Starks to impact my decision or opinion on Mukuba. So, it was a tremendous first 2 days for Howie, even though I was a little shocked he traded out of the third round. I think there was a certain name that he wanted that he didn't realize somebody would jump him for. I think Howie got outmaneuvered, maybe, or cockblocked, so to speak, on a couple key players he wanted and couldn't get trades done with. Obviously, the rumors that he wanted to trade up for Mukuba. Then why is it spelled? Why is it got a U in the beginning, Marshawn? Good morning to you. It's Mukuba is how it's spelled. So Mukuba. Okay, fine. Mukuba. And I knew that, actually. I won't lie. What do you think of the quarterback we got? What do I think? You want me to jump right down to round 6? Kyle McCord, Syracuse quarterback, St. Joe's prep kid, was at Ohio State at first. He's going to battle DTR for quarterback 3 for sure. Developmental. He's a guy that he's just going to go into the quarterback factory, and we'll see what he is when we eventually trade Tanner McKee, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Ty Robinson is going to have a very nice Eagles career. I also like the McCord pick. Maybe use Tanner as a trade piece now with McCord there. I don't know if McCord's ready to be quarterback 2. But yes, Ty Robinson, yeah, I mean, I wrote down some of his numbers here. 6'5", 288 pounds. He did play fullback even a couple plays. 42 pressures, 12 and a half tackles for loss, 7 sacks last year. He's a pass rushing defensive tackle. He's basically the Cornhuskers version of Milton Williams, and that was a very solid pickup. And he will – I keep talking about where the snaps are going to go. He's instantly going to get 350 snaps this upcoming year, at least, right from the get-go. They said the Browns jumped the Eagles for Sanders. Good. Didn't want Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, there's a lot to discuss this week about Shedeur Sanders and how Shedeur Sanders fell so much in the draft. Pretty pathetic, pretty crazy, pretty hilarious. Former Ohio State quarterback, so it's a solid pick. Well, of course, since you're an Ohio State Buckeye, I get it. Surprise guy. See, the thing is, I don't think there's a trademark for Dallas Goedert. And I told y'all that the Eagles weren't going to draft those top tight ends. I sat here on this show for weeks saying that. I still think Dallas Goedert gets cut, or maybe gets traded in the next, couple days. Everyone's like, "Oh, now you got to keep Dallas Goedert." I think they're set with Bryant, Granson, and Calcaterra. And Goddard financially is not a part of the future of this team. That draft class overall was not very good. Commies and Dallas had strong drafts. I think the entire NFC East, Marshawn, and good morning to you. Now that we understand it to Mukuba. I think the entire NFC East had a very good draft. Even the Giants, just because by default they got Abdul Carter. That means they had a very good draft too. The Commies, I think, had the best draft of the NFC East outside of the Eagles. I had to go through their 4th, 5th, 6th round picks. I think getting Campbell and Mukuba and Robinson might be a little bit better than what the Commies did. But they did draft a very good cornerback as well, which they need to help stop A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So I think the entire NFC East had a very successful weekend. All I can say is thank God no Shedeur. Yeah. I mean, what's up, Sean? How you doing? That was I joked that the Shedeur Sanders thing was actually a ploy by the networks, forcing teams in the league not to draft him for content and clicks. But, man, people do not want him on their team, and that's crazy. Really, really, really crazy. Andrew Mukuba, a senior. What's up, mister? How you doing this Sunday morning? Sanders fell way down. I thought he wouldn't get picked at all. I thought for a moment there was a chance that would happen too. And then I heard the rumors, and I actually started to believe the rumors that the Eagles would consider drafting Sanders because why not? It's a total Howie thing. And honestly, I think if he was there and the Browns didn't take him, I think the Eagles probably do take him. I would not have been shocked at all. Commies, Dallas, and Giants all had good drafts because they needed so much more than the Eagles did. Eagles had a better track record of their picks panning out. It's a great point. Great point, Steve. Look, we've spent now 9 minutes talking, and we haven't really even talked about the Eagles' first-round draft pick, Jihaad Campbell, and how he fell to the Eagles. Linebacker, extraordinaire, can play inside, can play outside, can rush the passer, can play the run. Last year, his stats were 117 tackles, 11.5 for losses, 5 sacks, 6'3", 244-pounder. A lot of talk about Jihaad Campbell playing all over the field, starting day one. He's definitely going to start day one. There's no doubt that he's going to be starting there. As you know, Nakobe Dean is obviously going to take some time to get healthy. And I think this is also great because then it doesn't force them to put Nakobe Dean out there right away. A lot of talk about Jihaad Campbell being on the outside, being a Micah Parsons type, playing all over the defense. The exact kind of person that Vic Fangio would want. And obviously we traded up 1 pick. We gave up a 5th rounder trade up one spot to get him because, I think it was the Browns wanted a linebacker there. A couple other teams might have. And it was rumored that Jihaad Campbell, the Eagles tried to move up to like pick 22, 24. Hey, there we go. The first one. It's about time. How you doing? Thank you, mister. Muchas gracias. How do we keep Trump from deporting all of foreign players, Mukuba, Mailata, etc.? Wow. Well, you want me to get excited for the super chat, but you also want to throw a Trump comment in there. My politics. It is Sunday morning, and they're showing CNN with a Philly guy on Sunday morning talking politics. But thank you very much. Yeah, we do got some. Where's Mukuba from? I don't even know where Mukuba. Like, obviously, Mukuba and Jihaad Campbell were not part of our conversation the weeks leading up to the draft because they weren't on the Eagles draft boards. The whole top 30 visit thing kind of got hit in the head there because a lot of these guys. Now, Jihaad Campbell did meet with some of our defensive coaches at the Combine and at pro days and stuff. So there was some interaction there. None of the top tight ends were good blockers. That's Goddard's advantage. Sean, I still don't know how we keep Dallas Goedert financially speaking. It's a big part of it. The financials with Goddard just don't make sense to me. So they're still going to try to trade him. Somebody that missed out on a tight end. That's that. Bond is going to benefit tremendously from having Campbell play with him. Look, I'm a huge Nakobe Dean fan. But Jihaad Campbell's an upgrade from Nakobe Dean, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's a shame because he's going to be injured, coming back from an injury. He's going to now be a rotational piece with Jihaad Campbell here. But if Nakobe Dean can come back healthy, and then you can move Jihaad Campbell all over the field on rushing downs, you can play him on the outside. You can on a blitz package. Look, we didn't address the defensive end edge rushers much in the draft. So Jihaad Campbell can slide outside and on passing downs and rush the passer. Fantastic work. Morning, Kyle. How you doing? Hope you're having a good Sunday. Solid drafts Wednesday season. I know. I already wrote it down. They announced during the draft. May 14th is when the schedule releases. We'll live stream the schedule release part. We'll do a live stream on May 14th for the schedule release, and we'll do instant reactions on that as well. Hal got his Alabama guy. Yeah, another big time school, big time player. Jihaad Campbell's going to be one of those guys that's an impact player here for a very long time. And Howie definitely wanted this kid. Obviously, there's rumors that he wanted to trade with the Chargers, rumors that he wanted to trade with the Packers to move up and get him when he obviously started to fall down the draft board. This is a guy Jihaad Campbell's a guy I think could turn out to be one of the top 10 players in this draft. Jihaad Campbell is a guy that could become, when we think about legendary linebackers, obviously right now we talk about Zach Baum because of the story, an unknown kind of thing that just came out of nowhere. But when we talk about all-time greats, we talk about Seth Joyner, Jeremiah Trotter, those kind of guys. Jihaad Campbell is going to have the potential and the opportunity. And we're over 20 concurrent viewers right now. So, guys, make sure everybody's hitting that like button. Make sure everybody's hitting that share button. And everybody, please, that's watching right now, hit subscribe. Start the show at 507 subscribers, 493 away from 1,000. So, please, like, share, subscribe. I'd appreciate that. I have a feeling that when all is said and done, Jihaad Campbell is going to be a guy that's in the conversation with Seth Joyner and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in all-time greats at linebacker in Philadelphia with Willie Thomas, Byron Evans, those kind of names. And with Vic Fangio's the one that's, coaching him, I think the sky's the limit. Also had to get another dog. We did. We also got some interesting guys in the undrafted free agents, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Some interesting names there as well. If Jordan Davis lets Ty Robinson take his starting DT position because he can't stay in game shape, his career will be short. Yeah, look, I like I didn't know a lot about Ty Robinson, Mista. Again, another guy that wasn't on my list, but as I watch film all weekend on him, read all the reports on him, he's a guy. I think Jordan Davis had about 388 snaps last year, 390 snaps. So did Moro Jomo. Milton Williams had a little over 500. Moro Jomo will bump up to about 500. Ty Robinson's going to play about 400 snaps. So Jordan Davis, I still say that there's that slim possibility that even he gets traded at some point this offseason. Because they can't give him an extension. They can't pick up his fifth-year option. I hear somebody saying they're trying to wait to see if he gets in shape for the first off-season workout program. When the Eagles traded out of the third, I figured they wasn't nobody they wanted. Well, they were at 96, and they traded back to 101, Adam, and I think they wanted Charles Grant. But the Raiders jumped up and grabbed Charles Grant 1 or 2 picks before the Eagles, the offensive tackle from William and Mary. Shocked at how little, sure things we drafted on the offensive line. All we heard about was drafting the next, Lane Johnson, his replacement, and they didn't get any of those guys. And that was kind of surprising to me, for sure. I think in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, there were multiple opportunities where Howie, some people say he got squeezed out. Some people said that people just refused to trade with him. Other people just said he just misfired. I think the first 3 picks are all slam dunk picks. Great picks. Picks that are going to help this team immediately continue to have a chance at repeating the Super Bowl champion. The rest of the draft kind of didn't fall, I guess, the way Howie expected it to, is the way I look at it. Tate Ratledge was a guy I wanted them to grab. He went to Detroit. Charles Grant went to the Raiders. Very shocked how little investment they put in the offensive line in the early parts of the draft. But again, I think some of that was misvaluing players and misvaluing what teams thought of players. How he traded with the same teams. Teams definitely block his number. Wouldn't be shocked, Pump Man, if teams blocked his number. Wouldn't be shocked at all. And also, I think other GMs might get a little jealous, Pump Man, if that makes sense, of the hype that Howie Roseman gets for how smart he is with these kind of things, and they don't want to make him look any smaller. So the theory that maybe he got squeezed out on a couple deals, maybe that's the case, maybe. Like I said, obviously they tried to move up much higher to get Jihaad Campbell and couldn't. So there's that avenue to look at too. What does Howie have now? 88 picks, something like that, for sure. And next year's draft is much deeper, Sean. And there's definitely room for the Eagles to be able to move up and get a top-tier pick in the first round or second round that they really want. So, Howie has a lot of draft capital for next offseason. He has a lot of draft capital if he wants to make a trade for a player that is out there right now that's available. There's a lot of flexibility for what Howie can do next offseason. But Howie also has his team set up to continue to have a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. What's up, Uriah? Let's go back-to-back Super Bowls. Love the draft picks. I love it too. Love the thought process on these picks. Love the thought process. Love the stylistic, the position. You do basketball talk. They talk about positionless basketball. A lot of these picks, not just Jihaad Campbell, who can play inside and outside. Andrew Mukuba, can play slot as well as safety. Ty Robinson can play, a defensive end in a 4 technique kind of, in a, hand down. Like, these guys could do everything. These top 3 picks can do literally everything. And you got to love that Howie is attacking those kind of players. Yeah, absolutely. But they did try to make trades with other teams. So, yeah, absolutely. I don't understand the Mac McWilliams pick in the 4th, but I would prefer we went with a running back. Yeah, we didn't draft a running back. We did pick up a running back in undrafted free agent. Montrell Johnson, running back from Florida, and Shanderick Powell from Central Arkansas. Jaden Blue went a little earlier than people expected. So, yeah, Mac McWilliams, undersized. He's a depth piece. Mac McWilliams tells me that Keely Ringo, Pump Man, is 100% the guy taking over for Darius Slay. Mac McWilliams is more of a developmental project than somebody that's going to go out there and compete with Ringo for a starting job. So that's my Mac McWilliams point is the Ringo, is what it tells. Like Jihaad Campbell and how much they wanted him tells me something about Nakobe Dean and his health. Andrew Mukuba tells me something about Sidney Jones. Ty Robinson tells me something about Jordan Davis. Mac McWilliams tells me something about Keely Ringo. Andrew Mukuba is a dog. These dudes crying for Winston Jr., knowing how he hardly picks Penn State. Look, Winston Jr. wasn't originally I wanted Malachi Starks, or I wanted Jalen Reed late in the third, fourth round. Mukuba wasn't on my list, or where Winston Jr. wasn't on my list until I started reading his story and seeing him fall down people's draft boards. I thought there was some good value if you get him at 64. Mukuba, though, he's a guy he's basically another Chauncey Gardner-Johnson kind of dog-type player. And I love it. I think it's a great pick. I'm just looking here. He played in college 1,182 safety snaps, 803 in the slot, 415 box. I know everybody's comparing him to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I've watched a lot of tape on him just in the last 48 hours. I saw somebody refer to him more like a Rodney McLeod as well, that could stop the run, that could play safe, could do a little bit of everything, and I like that too. How many cameras are at the Browns facility already? Probably a lot. And you know what? Sanders probably, with what they have in their quarterback room, Sanders probably starts already on that team. So they got to steal there, obviously, in my opinion. Eagles must have a lot of faith in Will Shipley. Yeah, I think they do. Ringo, yes. Ringo's the starting cornerback, too, now with the Mac McWilliams. When was the last time the Eagles drafted a linebacker in the first round? Do you consider Marcus Smith a linebacker? See, I consider – I saw somebody say this about Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith was an outside guy that could play inside. Jihaad Campbell's an inside guy that could play outside, is my understanding. Marcus Smith also had some other personality issues or mental issues as well that he struggled to deal with. I don't want to criticize Marcus Smith at all in any way, shape, or form, knowing his story. I mean that they let Ringo switch his jersey number to 7. Swag, yeah. A couple guys changed. He changed his number. Jahan Dotson, who they declined his fifth-year option this weekend. He changed his number as well. How he did that top 30 list as a misdirection for other poachers. How he didn't select one of those top 30. Osborne in SoCal, welcome to the show. Welcome to this STT Sports Network and Trending in the AM family. I spent literally 2 weeks talking about top 30 visits, and I was just shocked that not one of them got taken. You're spot on. Like, that was one of those crazy, crazy, crazy things. All right, we gained 1 new subscriber. So, guys, please hit that like, that share button. Of course, please hit subscribe. Would greatly appreciate it. We are now at 508. The race, the march to 1,000 subscribers is on. So thank you, guys. Mukuba is basically a smaller Malcolm Jenkins. He is locked down in coverage. It's another great comparison. Again, wasn't the guy I wanted, but it was a guy that I was extremely, extremely excited once we got him. Jihaad plays like Dante Hightower, former Patriots linebacker. Another good comparison. I know a lot of people are saying he's going to move outside eventually or play the Micah Parsons role. I think he's really good in that center position. I think he's going to play a lot in that, or not center, that middle linebacker position, especially early. And it tells me that they're concerned about Nakobe Dean. Mac McWilliams is listed ahead of Perry Nickel back depth chart, which is needed. Mac McWilliams is not a starter, Jonathan, yet. Mac McWilliams is basically going to play like an Avonte Maddox role. Fill in wherever's necessary, and learn and grow. And we'll see. If an injury happens, maybe he's pressed, maybe not. But it does tell me that Keely Ringo is without a doubt the starting right corner, or the starting cornerback too. I'm a big Eagles fan. Good morning, little G. Isn't even morning still. It's 11:30 almost. I'm just happy we didn't draft Starks. Why? I mean, because I was really hyped for Starks. I thought he was the best safety in the draft, actually, in my opinion. Let's go. 1K subscribers. That's the dream. That's the goal by week 1 of the NFL season. When I go live for game 1 of the NFL season, Uriah, I want to be at 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal. Mukuba is Bob Sanders like. Phil, think of Andrew Van Ginkel. That's a player Vic has coveted for a while. Yeah, I think a lot of these defensive players have Vic Fangio's thumbprints all over it. Where Vic Fangio was in that room leading up to the draft process with Howie Roseman a lot to say, these are the kind of players I want you to target for me. I think it's pronounced Smile, Mondin Jr., built like a tank. Yeah, he was one of the later picks. He was one of the second, fifth round pick from Georgia, linebacker, 6'2", 224. Fair value, a second linebacker, more depth at linebacker. So I saw somebody say, hopefully he is not a Davian Taylor Jr. I think Dives, Mr. Crockpot, said that. I forget who, but maybe it was him. But a developmental, Jihaad Campbell, Zach Bond, and Nakobe Dean are your top guys. So developmental for sure. How much do you read into it? William, what's up, my man? So we read too much into the top 30 visits. Thought that was everything. But it turns out, William, that RAS is what was one of the big key factors because they all had, super high RAS scores. So I think Howie definitely doesn't matter what I think of him or what you think of him. If Howie believes in him, that's all that really matters, right? If Drew was 6'1", he would be the best safety in the class. Okay, do we go by Drew for him or is it Andrew? Are we already calling him Drew Mukuba? We need a nickname for him. Two-champ pedigree O-line in the 6th round, 2 years in a row. Look, they got some depth in O-line. Miles Hanton from Michigan and Cameron Williams from Texas in that 6th round. Both developmental pieces. Not necessarily sure things to replace Lane Johnson Nooms, but two guys that could definitely – we are now over 30 concurrent viewers. Don't get that often, so there should be 30 likes. Hopefully all 30 of you shared this and all 30 of you have subscribed to the channel. Would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate all those buttons hit, guys. Would greatly appreciate it. So is Ben Van Summer officially listed as a fullback. Hey, just so you know, Sean, it's reported that Ty Robinson lined up at fullback 8 times for Nebraska, and they scored 7 touchdowns on those 8 fullback things. Just throwing it out there. The fullback is alive and well in Philadelphia. And yes, Ben Van Summer is listed as a fullback unofficially. He changed his number to resemble a fullback as well. So Jihaad went to Alabama as a freshman, and they had Will Anderson and Nick put him off-ball linebacker as a freshman. Jihaad, yeah. And who was it? What's up, Dawood Jones? Did I say Dawood Jones? I'm terrible with names. Somebody on one of the broadcasts said that from one of the major programs, I forget who it was, that his biggest regret was not landing him in the recruiting class. I don't know if it was on one of the shows, not Nick Saban, because obviously went to Bama. One of the other major program college coaches was on one of the shows and said how much he regretted missing out on him. Read between the lines. Howie didn't draft best available. He drafted players that could play the slot to give Jihaad. I hear that, mister. I've seen a few people say that as well. I don't like the idea of moving them outside, Jihaad. But and you do get paid more as an outside. I get it, mister. I don't like it, but I get it. Well, thank you. Much appreciated from Vegas. Vegas, baby. Awesome. We go live normally Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. our time. Probably a little early for you, 8 a.m. But we're trying to do more weekend shows and night shows as well, William. But we try to go. I try to go live 6, 7, 8 times a week on this channel here. So, but most of the time it's Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Except for tomorrow. Got work early tomorrow. 5:09. All right. So we've gained 2 subscribers this morning. Awesome. Thank you for keeping the count, Adam. Much appreciated. If nothing else, the Eagles gave us a welcome distraction for the Phillies. Oh, but don't you know, Sean, the Phillies are back. The Phillies are back. They won. They scored 10 runs yesterday. See? And, I could talk about the Phillies. I don't want to, but, we're not allowed to complain when the Phillies lose 5 in a row because it's a long season. But all the positive people can say, see, they won. See, they're back after 1 game. So my 7th heaven, Ringo FC. Mukuba, the Zimbabwe. zip tie. Zimbabwean zip tie. We need a nickname for Mukuba and Reed Blankenship. Instead of having the DeJean Blankenship, we need a Mukuba nickname with one other player on this team. The Mukuba Campbell combo. Something. Why would Abdul think left tackle was finally going to give him 50? Gotcha. Yeah. Lawrence Taylor. Somebody else in the draft got permission to use a retired number. I saw that come across my ticker at some point this weekend. Not sure who, but yeah. Jihaad went to high school in my town. He is an extremely gifted wide receiver and edge rusher. Very surprised there aren't more J.Alex Hunt comps here. Interesting. Well, maybe J.Alex Hunt, no offense, the pedigree is higher for Campbell than Hunt. Maybe Hunt, his comparison is Jihaad Campbell. No, Kelly season, Phil, these dudes need to embrace my seventh heaven. Look, I think that I agree with you. I think Keely is going to be your starting outside cornerback with DeJean and Quinion Mitchell. Now, if Keely Ringo cannot start, they have enough or handle starting. Now they have with these draft picks enough flexibility to slide Cooper outside if they had to. But I think that's going to be the way it starts. We actually watched the Phillies during the draft, you fools. You know what? I have YouTube TV at my pizza shop and at home, and I couldn't watch the Phillies game on Sunday or Saturday. For some reason, it was saying I was in Baltimore. The location services on it got all screwed up, and I couldn't figure out how to fix it. I kept checking it and trying to reset it, and it wouldn't work. So I don't know what happened there. All these players we drafted on defense has Vic all over them. Jones, I'm good. DJ, we'll call you DJ. Absolutely agree. That's what I say. 100%. Every one of these picks on defense has Vic Fangio's thumbprints all over it. All over it. PFS mock draft. You are one sick bleepity. I don't have a dump button. One sick bleep. All right. Dives, but yeah, scored 10 runs yesterday, but won't score. Yeah, exactly. It's a night game. I've considered going live and doing a watch party for the Phillies game tonight. Considering it. Will we? I don't know, but maybe. Rumor has it from my sources that Mel Kiper still hasn't left Green Bay. Dude, let me tell you something. Mel Kiper needs to just go away. His way of handling the Shador Sanders drop in the draft was nauseating. Poor everybody else that needed to be talked about. Let's just ignore them and talk about, oh, that pick should have been Sanders. That pick should have been Sanders. That pick should have been Sanders. My God. He was so annoying, Mel Kiper, all weekend long. Warmu gave number one retire. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Gave Cam Ward his number one jersey. I heard that. I don't know if Ward said he would take it. Warmu offered it to him. That's right, though. Thank you for that, Osborne in SoCal. I shared this stream with some big-time friends today. Well, muchas gracias, mister. I appreciate you. You are my man. You are right there with Marshawn and Adam and a few others. No offense to everybody else. The original Core 12 right there. I was hoping the Eagles would select Sebastian Castro, teammate of Cooper DeJean. Pittsburgh has him in undrafted free agent. But they did pick up Quinion Mitchell's roommate from Toledo, Maxon Hook, a safety in undrafted free agent. So they went and got cue ball, his old best friend and roommate. So there's that to think about as well. I haven't watched the Phillies in weeks. I try to. I do. But it's tough. It really is, Sean. It's really tough to watch them. Howie may actually wind up having his best day 3 ever. This draft was about pieces around. I think that's a great way to look at it. None of them, I don't know if any of them are going to be Pro Bowlers or Hall of Famers or all pros, but they're all going to be important pieces going forward. Absolutely. I do like the kid they signed, Hollis Pierce, offensive tackle, Rutgers, yes. He was, I was reading on him. He was a guy that could have gone late 4th, early 5th round. And we got him as an undrafted free agent. Maybe that's the guy that's trained to be the Lane Johnson replacement over the guys we actually drafted. Phil, it's pretty obvious ESPN was doing everything they could to use the Sid Sanders. Yeah, well, maybe not to cover the Shannon Sharp thing, but maybe. They were doing it, in my opinion, because, it's clickbait. It's driving everywhere, all over social media. Everyone was talking about it. Mel Kiper talking about Sanders and all. I fell into the trap for it, too. So, Pumpman, it was done to do something. Pierce needs to get lighter on his feet and deal with NFL Ben, but he may be a very good Mailata backup project. Very possible. Very possible. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant there. Gotta admit, I did laugh a little when those college kids prank out. Oh, man. How'd they even get that number? I actually felt bad for. I won't lie. I'm not a Shedeur Sanders fan. I called him one of the biggest draft busts going to be in a while. Now as a 5th-round pick or 6th-round pick, whatever it was. You can't consider him a bust, at that point. But that prank, I mean, I laughed when I watched the video. But I did feel bad for him. I think his dad propped him up so high. He's never had a moment in his life where he was told, yo. He never had that, wake-up moment of the real world. But hell, if Bronny James can get drafted in the 1st round, I would kind of think that Sanders should too. At least Sanders has some talent and some, skill set. I know there were a lot of rumors about Sanders. The Eagles were going to draft him. And I actually kind of believed in them. And I kind of feel like that's why the Browns jumped us to get him, because I think that was really on the mind of Howie. Apparently the kid on the video was Jeff Obrecht, defensive coordinator of the Falcons' kid. Oh, man. Those kids are going to get in trouble for that. Probably. Pierce's arm length is 36 inches. I don't even know if my 2 arms combined are 36 inches. I learned one valuable lesson during day 1 of the draft. I have to improve my jewelry game. You know what I learned, Sean? I learned that the double-breasted suit jacket is cool again. I wish I still had my Celebrity Cruises double-breasted suit jacket when I worked for Celebrity Cruises. They used to make all of us entertainers on casual nights wear this double-breasted suit coat. I literally counted like 6. I said to my wife multiple times, like, there's another, not to my wife, to Jason when we were doing our live draft show. There's another double-breasted suit coat. Who knew the double-breasted suit coat was back in? I saw at least 5 or 6 of them that were like that. I do believe we overinvest in the O-line, like we can get a damn running back in a deep class. Like, did we really overinvest? I mean, we drafted 2 offensive linemen in the 6th round. Is that really overinvesting? Some of these other running backs, like Devin Neal, I don't know where Gordon and Allen went, but Devin Neal went pretty early. Obviously, Genty went very early in the draft because of Howie Roseman, because of Saquon Barkley. Running backs are cool and important again. So these guys are getting drafted a little higher than probably expected. I think a lot of it, and I'm not trying to criticize Howie. I think Howie had a great draft. I think Howie had a weaker draft than last year in the sense of people we thought he was targeting and where they ended up going. That's just my way. Sounds like you're feeling a lot. I am feeling much better. My tooth still, well, not the tooth, the surgery still hurts a little bit. They really had a hell of a time taking that tooth out on Thursday morning. It's still a little sore, still a little tender. I'm not taking, pain pills every 4 hours. Now I'm going like every 8 to 9 hours on them. But yeah, I was, by the end of that live stream on Thursday night, when I cut it short, I was in so much pain. I was literally, my eyes, you couldn't see it on the stream. My eyes were tearing up a few times. I saw a clip of Sanders persisting in calling himself legendary and saying he's ready to lead the Browns. It doesn't seem like he learned anything. Yeah. What's up, Jason? How you doing? And please, I'd greatly appreciate if you jumped on the YouTube page as well and hit the like and subscribe and share button as well there. But yeah, Sanders, he's got to grow up. He's got to do some growing up. Maybe getting away from Dion for a little bit will help him. I don't know about Ty Lawrence's quickness, twitch, but his pursuit speed for that size is elite. All the running backs I listed were late round picks. I thought Devin Neal went before Jaden Blue. And Jaden Blue went in like the 3rd or 4th round. Jaden Blue was like a 5th or 6th round projection. I saw him go way early. Can't grade any team's draft until these kids. Absolutely agree. We all grade it. We all instant. This is more like an overreaction kind of situation, Sean. But in theory, we won't know for 3 years who's successful and who's not. 2 years, 3 years on these drafts. I told everybody, Brian, we were not drafting a tight end this year. I still think Dallas Goedert gets cut. I still think Michael Mayer from the Raiders is in play. And I still think that they are content with Calcaterra, Granson, and Bryant if they get rid of Dallas Goedert. And I still think they're trying to figure something out with Dallas Goedert. I do. But most likely, they're content. I told it. I said it multiple times. They were not going to get any any of those top tight ends. It just wasn't going to happen. At least that was my opinion. I was very firmly in on that. And y'all called me crazy on that. Heard about his family back when Goddard was blocked by Ertz. What? I'm sorry. What happens with Bryce Huff? He's on the team, Sean. That was my first reaction when the season ended. After the Super Bowl parade, that Bryce Huff, the cap hit of getting rid of him is too high. Nobody's going to trade for him. I also said he might have been a reach when we signed him last offseason. I said he was a one-hit wonder potentially. But I think he stays. You've got a lot of depth on the edge, but you don't have a load of talent. We need to do most obvious thing. Project 89 is tight end 1. Is that what you got to do? No, it don't matter. I'm trying to monetize YouTube. I got the first step, super chats and subscriber things. Now I got to get to 1,000. And when I get to 1,000, I get the ad revenue. That's the goal. The goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the start of the NFL season, Jason. That is the top goal. That's my big. I've already passed the 5,000 followers on Twitter. Goal is 1,000 on YouTube now. Started the show at 5:07. We are right now sitting at 5:09, so that's fantastic. Gaining a few every single day. A few years back, I flew in on the same plane as Dallas Goedert's family after a regular season game. They said either he starts and gets an extension, or he was going to leave for the Cowgirls. Yeah, look, I think Dallas Goedert's gone. I still think that. Whether they find somebody that missed out on a tight end, like the Eagles, or you guys think the Eagles, I still think he gets traded. I still think his trade value is very minimal. I think at max you get a 5th-round pick, maybe, with the condition to turn it into a 4th. I still think he's a post-June 1st trade or cut. I still think they stick with what they got, and maybe they trade for Mike Myers. Or Mike Mayer. Sorry, Michael Myers. Michael Myers is a tight end here. Michael Mayer. Sorry. Yeah, look, it's weird how the tight end situation has evolved with the Eagles. We always had the starter with the developmental project, and right now we don't really. We got 3. I mean, let's be honest. Grant Calcaterra is not on any level with Dallas Goedert or Zach Ertz. You got 3 average at best tight ends on this team. But when you got A.J. Brown, when you got Devontae Smith, when you got Saquon Barkley, when you got Jalen Hurts, an average tight end is okay. That's why if you look at the win-loss records on the games that Dallas Goedert doesn't play, it doesn't affect us anymore as much as it used to because there's so much talent on this team. Yeah, the blocking's an issue, but Bryant and Granson should fix that. Johnny Wilson, look, I guess you could consider him in that tight end / wide receiver room. He's a hybrid. He's a blocking tight end. He's a blocking wide receiver. He's not quite big enough to be a tight end, but maybe a little too big to be a wide receiver. Who was the wide receiver that turned into a tight end at the end of his career? Jordan Matthews, I think it was. Maybe you could throw his name in there. Dallas Goedert, I will still Bryce Huff has got a much better chance, like Sean brought his name up, to be on this team next year than Dallas Goedert. I just don't think they need to spend big money on a tight end at this point. Maybe a couple years from now, maybe when A.J. Brown's no longer around or whatever, or we don't have Saquon Barkley, maybe then. But right now, they're good. They're good at tight end, I think, in their mind. Johnny Wilson is legit 4.5 speed. Johnny Wilson had 1 or 2 drops that really pissed me off last year in his limited opportunities. My thing is, the games we didn't have Dallas Goedert last year, nobody was capable of stepping up. Grant Calcaterra didn't really step up. C.J. Uzomah didn't step up. E.J. Manuel didn't step up. Johnny Wilson got more opportunities, did not step up. That was the problem. Too much not stepping up when guys got hurt last year. But this year's another year. This year is another opportunity. Of course, Mitchie Poo. What's up, Mitchie Poo? I hope you're having a fantastic weekend as well. We're great. What on a scale of 1 to 100, I'm guessing you grade the Eagles draft as a 69, right, Mitchie Poo? That would be my guess. Mukuba, is listed as a starter strong safety over Sydney. I think he is, Jonathan. I think he is a starter on this team. I think Jihaad, Campbell, Andrew, Mukuba are day one starters, and I think Ty Robinson is a day one major rotational piece. Those top 3 picks. I don't think there's any question, in my opinion. Stop being those. I remembered the drop passes. I forgot about the penalties as well. For sure, can't be like that. And Nick Sirianni's not going to accept that, Nooms. Not going to accept that kind of play and that kind of mistakes and those kind of issues. He's got to be better. He's got to be better. Okay, they graded a 96. Gotcha. But guys, almost 30 people watching again right now. There should be 30 likes. There's only 18 or 17. Should be more than 30 shares and subscribe, guys, please. 509. Let's get Mitchie Poo to 569 here. But anyway, with the Eagles not landing a running back from the talented class and seeing how valuable running back in their current offense, I'm curious if they dip in the free agent market here, guys like Chubb and Dobbins. So, well, they brought in A.J. Dillon as well. They got Will Shipley, who they invested in last year. They brought in, I don't know much about him, but they brought in 2. They brought in Montrell Johnson from Florida. He is a 5'11", 212-pound guy, violent runner type. And they brought in Shunderick Powell from Central Arkansas, very small guy, 5'7", 183. More of a passing game option, kind of running back. Did average 8.2 yards per carry last year of Central Arkansas. So they do have 5 running backs at least now on the roster, Jason. Maybe not the guys we wanted, but guys that they have brought in that are going to have a chance to compete for the roster. Guys that have a chance to, make the practice squad and be called up from time to time. So they have invested in it, just not highly like we thought they would. I would have been fine with LaQuint Allen because he was an elite pass protector. I don't know much about the undrafted free agent guys other than the quick read-ups I did on them this morning. But yeah, Will Shipley, I'm still teetering on his pass protection. A.J. Dillon could do it if he's healthy. Very important to be able to pass block as a running back with the Eagles. Johnny Wilson has elite blocking skills, but he has to make a double level up year to help this team to move. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Absolutely. We got a lot of Johnny Wilson. I did not think 48 minutes into this show today that we'd be having so much Johnny Wilson hype train and conversation. Honestly, shocked at how we've talked more about Mukuba and some of these other guys more so than Jihaad Campbell, the number 1 pick that we took, which is shocking. Shocking to me how much we've hyped everybody else up and not the top pick, which hypes me up more than anything. Dealing with multiple hamstring injuries this season, he was hampered. I'm not going to doubt you on it. You're not saying anything negative about Jalen Hurts, so I'm very happy right now. So I'll accept any hype you've got on these guys, Pump Man. I have no problem with it. He's got to get better. He's got to be better than he was last year. In my mind, there's no doubt he's got to be better. Why did we draft a center with no versatility? At least get a guard. I did watch a video on him, and whoever's video, maybe it was Dive, Mr. Crockpot, Party on Broad. Maybe it was somebody else. I did read something or watch a video on him that they did talk about putting him in Stoutland University because his talents can translate to being a guard. He hasn't done it yet. He's not ready to do it yet, but maybe he will. The lack of guard attention, I really want to Tate Ratledge, I say that again, tells me that they're set with Tyler Steen at your start time. See, the thing is, the draft can tell you a lot about a lot of players on the Eagles already. Keely Ringo is your starting cornerback at this moment. Sidney Brown is not a starting safety. Tyler Steen is your starting right guard at this exact moment. They did not draft a guard at all, really, which is very interesting. Drew Kendall has bloodlines, but he never played guard. Right, no, I know that, but they did talk about his bloodline. Acknowledge me. They did talk about like his size and his footwork and stuff like that. Whatever. I forget whose video I watched. Whatever I read or listened to said that he could learn pretty easily how to play guard. I think they believe in Dickerson's ability to pivot to center. Maybe why? Maybe. Fair point. Running back. It seems this offseason about the Eagles believing more in their homegrown guys than perhaps the public has. Yeah, maybe. I didn't not believe in Shipley and Ringo. Where's my mind? Rhea Ripley. Shipley and Ringo. Steen. It's not that I didn't believe in him. The one that I really truly didn't believe in that much is Sidney Brown. It's not that I don't believe in. I just think that you can learn a lot from who they pick. And I think it tells you that Ringo and Shipley and Steen are more well-liked or more well-perceived in the NovaCare complex than, say, a Sidney Brown at this point. And I think a lot of these guys outside of Shipley has a lot to do with Vic Fangio and what Vic Fangio thinks of these guys. Thank God we didn't draft that bum Gunner Helm 49540. Sheesh. Look, yeah. Said it. We weren't drafting a tight end. Said it like 100 times. And everyone told me we were nuts, that we were definitely drafting a tight end. And I kept saying, no, we're not drafting a tight end. Howie was not investing in this draft, in this tight end class. I kept saying, you don't sign two 26-year-old tight ends to add to a room that's got already a couple guys. And, of course, don't forget about Johnny Wilson. They were not drafting a tight end. Now, how do you believe in Sidney? He hasn't even – there are a lot of people that do hype up. Oh, you're saying how do you not? Sorry. I see the follow-up. Not. He hasn't had a real chance, but in his limited opportunities, I just don't see it. I haven't seen any growth in his limited opportunities. He's a high throttle, high energy, full speed ahead guy. Great special team type guy. I just don't know if he's got starting safety. But you couldn't go into next season with blind hope on him, in my opinion. Not drafting a guard, I feel like the Becton experiment has informed their process. I think they feel they'll just go with big bodies and rely on Stout. I think they do rely on Stout, maybe almost too much to an extent, Jason. Tyler, obviously they believe in Tyler Steen. They got the kid in the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade. They're hoping that he could be the next Mekhi Becton. And obviously they got the kid they drafted last year. Why am I not thinking of his name? Kennard. He's a long shot, but, he could play it. I think they believe in the guys they developed in Stoutland University. Sometimes I feel like they put too much. I know he's never missed. I know he gets everybody to a certain level. But, yeah, I don't know. I've seen his rookie tape, and he was only bright spot in 23. They said his ACL injury recovery was harsh. And that's very possible. But I think they did the right thing by getting somebody else. And here's the thing, Brian. If Sidney Brown's good to go, Mukuba can play the slot. And you can slide to – here's your other scenario. Sidney Brown's the man. Then Mukuba plays the slot, and Cooper DeJean becomes your outside corner. What you got now is a lot of position flexibility with a lot of players. As we always talk about in basketball is becoming a positionless sport. Football is positionless. You need guys that can do everything all over the field, play multiple positions. You got a lot of guys that can do that. A lot of guys that could do that at this point. I just wasn't – when I say believe or I don't believe in Sidney Brown, I don't believe in Sidney Brown being the starter day one next year based off of what we've seen. And, yes, some of it's unfortunate with the injuries. Some of it's unfortunate with, the situation he was in. But I wasn't ready. And drafting a safety that could start day one and I can have confidence in, like Andrew Mukuba, is much better, in my opinion. There are downsides to Mukuba. He is a little small at 5'11", 186. I guess 30-inch arms is pretty small, as well as what they say. So Yeah. Yeah, Vic wants to put 3 safeties in his base defense. That's maybe a possibility. What I do know is that Howie is giving Vic Fangio what he wants. If this is what Vic Fangio wants, Vic Fangio gets it. And I do love that it seems like Howie, old Howie, pre-Chip Kelly Howie, it was Howie's way or the highway. Howie always wanted to be the smartest man in the room. Whether he would always give the coaches square pegs to put into round holes. Now Howie listens to his coaches. What kind of players do you want? What kind of players do you need? What kind of skill sets are you looking for? Period. What players do you want? And I think it's very important to have that kind of relationship, coaches and general managers, so you do get the players you want. So that you do get, that continuity, the confidence that, everybody on the same page. Then again, Vic's defense is mainly quarters coverage. Yeah, I mean, all that matters is that Vic gets what he wants. Here's a question for you, Brian, since you're so into this safety conversation. Does Andrew Mukuba and your like of Sidney Brown, does that now eliminate the Justin Simmons train, which I've been trying to shut down for a while? That I don't want Justin Simmons here. Does this shut the Justin Simmons train down? Agree on Steen, but they drafted 3 O-line and added the O-tackle. Yeah. So all those O-line guys that they drafted and brought in from Rutgers, none of them are starting day one. There's no way any of them are starting day one. Steen's going to get this year to prove himself. And if Steen proves himself, then he's the guy. If he doesn't prove himself, then they move on from him after the season. But Steen's the guy now at this point, in my opinion. I wasn't sure. I wanted Becton to stay. Becton was a top priority for me. But Steen's the guy now. And everything tells us that now. It's pretty obvious Fangio likes these smaller, faster, rangy, and hard-hitting DBs in his defense. Why else would we draft? Yeah, I mean, he is very undersized. And so isn't Mac McMillan undersized as well? He's 5'11", 191 as well. Yeah, so 2 guys that we drafted for the defensive back room field, both only 5'11". How he learned to not work in an ivory tower. Joe Branner never learned. Absolutely, and I love that kind of analogy there. Howie has learned that you got to give the coaches the tools they need to succeed. You got to give them the pieces that fit what they're trying to do. Yeah, and yes, I agree that the Justin Simmons role was already played by Reed, but I talked about it last offseason. Why do we keep talking about it? If the Eagles wanted Justin Simmons, if Vic Fangio wanted Justin Simmons, he would have been an Eagle last year. He would have been an Eagle already this year. But everyone keeps going back to it. And I think Mukuba now completely writes that off at this point. I think Kyle McCord is better than Tanner, but there's video of him. Got my soda. I hope the lid. Looks like the lid was on all the way. A video of him rapping the lyrics. I saw the rap video. Hope he's not talking about legal issues. Mister, my gosh. I love it. I love it. That video was kind of funny. Man. Well, Phil, the fan base wants that. I agree. And I think the media drives it as well. I never got on board, even last year, with the Justin Simmons conversation. Michigan made McCord look pretty bad. I don't know much about him, other than that he's a St. Joe's prep guy. And then he played at Syracuse, and now he's the second Syracuse quarterback now in the last 25 years to be an Eagle. That's all I know about him. And the rap video. Obviously, Tanner McKee, I don't agree that he's better than Tanner McKee. But I think McCord ends up being a practice squad guy. I don't even think he beats out DTR for the last spot. Draftee Hinton now listed as a backup to Jordan Mailata. Kendall ahead of Toth on the depth chart. All right, are you looking on ESPN, Jonathan, or are you looking somewhere else? I haven't looked at the depth chart yet. I'll work on that this week, throughout the week. We'll talk about the depth chart throughout the week. What is the biggest need now on this team? Now that the draft is over, now that a majority of the undrafted free agents have been signed here. Do we need anything at this point for 2025? Our lads. I don't even know what our lads is. I'm going to write it down and look it up later. Our lads website. I'll look that up later. What is the biggest need on the Eagles after the draft? I know people are saying running back. Some people are saying guard. I don't know. McCord's going to lead the team. Well, that may be the case because we know Jalen Hurts won't play in the preseason. Tanner McKee will be the backup still probably, so he's not going to play much. He'll play a couple series here and there. And it's going to be DTR and McCord getting a majority of the preseason snaps. So that is definitely a real possibility. We're at the top of the hour here. We've been live for an hour, guys. Make sure if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. This is Trending in the AM. Really lunchtime on Sunday here. So I greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. There will be no morning show tomorrow. We'll be back to our regular schedule Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. live right here. We're up to 510 subscribers now. Gained 3 here, so I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Kyle will replace DTR or practice. I think he'll be practice squad at first. DTR isn't anything special. DTR is not a good quarterback, obviously, but it is what it is. So, what are the biggest needs now? I think Howie addressed a lot of our needs. Howie addressed a lot of the depth issues on this team. Howie put a lot of emphasis on more draft picks for next year. Literally, someone joked 88 picks next year. What will Howie do with all those picks? Is there a trade now that you want Howie to make? I mean, Trey Hendrickson didn't get none of the big names. Kayvon Thibodeau, Trey Hendrickson, Michael Mayer. None of the big names that were rumored to be traded got traded. So maybe there's a trade still to be made. One of the biggest needs remains a vet outside corner to compete with Ringo. Dory Jackson? Jason, is that not it? I think drafting Mac McWilliams tells me that Ringo is the guy and that Dory Jackson's the guy that's going to push him. We'll see. I don't know if a vet guy is necessary, maybe, but maybe. I think because Mukuba, not Brown, is the starting safety now, I think Ringo and Steen are the 2 biggest question marks on the starting rotation. I like that. Biggest question mark starters on Eagles. If you're new to the show, I write notes down. Brings up good questions for other days. Biggest need is wide receiver depth, but not since Eagles emphasize. Yeah, they haven't. They're going to pretty much let Jahan Dotson go after this season. So I think the depth at wide receiver is kind of there, but not really until next offseason. Don't think of Dory Jackson serious threat. Yeah, he's one of the few older guys, though, on this team. When you think about it, this team is one of the youngest teams in football now. Coming off a Super Bowl, returning 16, 17 starters, and young. Why are we still hanging on to Dallas Goedert, not keeping him? Less dead cap. Well, if you cut him after June 1st, it's less of a cap hit. So that's part of it. I still think they tried to trade him, and it didn't work out. I still think they are still trying to trade him. What is it, June 1st? I mean, still got a month to figure it out. Month and change to figure it out. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I still think they'll cut him or trade him, but I still am firm that they're not keeping Dallas Goedert. I said they weren't going to draft somebody and they were going to get rid of him. If anything, maybe tight end is our biggest weakness if they do move on from Dallas Goedert. I wonder what the cap situation's like after the draft. It doesn't affect it a lot. And how much salary cap space do we even have this year? I know they're going to want to roll some of whatever they're allowed to roll over to next year. Maybe they use some of that cap money this year that's left to extend Dallas Goedert and make it all cap hit this year with dummy years down the line. Maybe that's what they do with Dallas Goedert since they didn't draft a tight end. I remember reading something. I don't know if it's true or not. One of those cap experts saying the Eagles after the draft still would have $25, $30 million in cap space. I don't think so, but maybe they do. Not really sure how the cap works. I don't think anybody really truly knows how the cap works. Everybody argues that they know how the cap works, but I don't know. If Dallas Goedert's gone, I think tight end is the biggest question. I love Trey Amos, the cornerback the Commies drafted, but everything is good up until AJ. Yeah, exactly, Marshawn. Look, I think that draft pick there was a direct result of the Eagles, Marshawn. Direct result of the Eagles. They know that they got to stop our crazy great. I mean, what did we put up on them in the playoffs? 55 points? They got to stop them. So I think that was a direct counter. A lot of teams do that. They draft to beat the teams that they have to beat. And the Commanders have to beat us to get to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, smart thing to do is try to keep Dallas at the right price. At the right price. He's 30, at the right price. You need a lot of money next offseason for Nolan Smith and, more importantly, Jalen Carter. You can't be hitting into next year's cap space to keep Dallas Goedert. Curious what it does for the cap to trade Goddard at the deadline. That's how they moved Ertz, and it probably maximizes his value. I don't know, Jason. I won't lie. Again, I am no cap expert. I don't pretend to be one. I don't try to sit here like other people do and pretend like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the cap. Howie was never drafted in Amos. The organization is telling you they believe in my seventh heaven. I love how much you love Ringo. Love it. Dallas Goedert has been on the trade block for months. Why hasn't? Because he's 30. He wants a pay raise. Both those reasons are in it, mister. Howie probably wants a third or a fourth. Teams are probably barely offering fists for him. I love Emmanuel Forbes going into the draft, and the Commies drafted him in the first, and then AJ made them realize he was never going to measure up against elite wide receivers. I think the Commanders had a very solid draft. I think the entire NFC East, all teams in the East got better through the draft in one way or another. The team was more those guys to compete with vets, not younger, more promising players, because they already invested in those guys. Those guys to compete with vets, not younger players. Yeah. I get it. I don't ever want to be on the side of doubting any of the Philly Dogs Ringo season. Yeah, there you go. It's true. Sign, scene, whatever you want to call him. He's still here as well. We kind of forget about him in the secondary as well. Another dog. A lot of Alabama. Just like we got a lot. We talk about how many Georgia Bulldogs we have. We got a lot of Alabama products on this team as well. Let's not forget, we are not just the Philadelphia Bulldogs. We are also the Alabama Eagles as well. Got a lot of players from big-time programs on this team now. A lot of young guys. I think the plan was pretty clear once all the dust settled from the draft, for sure. Cowboys didn't. Who's their running back and wide receiver? Two, Miles Sanders. And well, let me go back to the Cowboys draft class here. Give me a second to pull it up because I had the Eagles up. Obviously, they got Tyler Booker, a guard, I guess, to replace one of their offensive linemen that retired. A solid guy, a little bit of a reach at 12th overall, but a solid guard. Easy D, I call him, Donovan, because I can't pronounce his name. Solid edge rusher there in the second round. Jaden Blue, somebody the Eagles wanted. Fans want it. I don't know much else about the rest of the guys that they drafted, but Booker and Easy were good players. Terrible RAS score, too, for sure. I doubted every one of the Philly Dogs but Jalen Carter. Again, I apologize, Nolan Smith. Yeah, I tried to tell everybody to relax on Nolan Smith being a bust after his rookie year, but he's proven a lot of the doubters wrong. So, yeah, Nakobe Dean. I just don't know, Marshawn, what becomes a Nakobe Dean with Jihaad Campbell. I don't know. He's going to be a rotational piece this year. Now, part of a rotation once he's healthy. Jaden Blue is a fumbling machine. I don't know anything about Jaden Blue, to be honest with you. Other than that, a lot of Eagles fans, a lot of them, hyped him up all draft process. Everybody wanted him for some reason. I was forcing myself to mock draft him when I would post mock drafts online just to say, guys, are you happy with this draft? Great, this draft, because I knew everybody wanted Jaden Blue. I didn't think we were going to draft a running back, honestly. Tyler Booker is talking that talk after he got drafted. He's not blocking Carter one-on. No, not a. Nobody's drafting Jalen Carter one-on-one, Marshawn. Nobody's drafting him one-on-one or blocking him one-on-one. I don't think anybody can draft him one-on-one. I don't know if Tyler Booker's blocking Ty Robinson one-on-one. What are thoughts on positional versatility? It seems to be a huge value for the Birds now. Campbell, Mukuba. Yeah, look, I think in this day and age, in not just football, in all sports, you got to have position flexibility and versatility. I think it's a big, big key for what Vic Fangio likes to do, Jason. And I think, again, the Eagles are kind of setting that trend, not to use the play on the pun there with the network name, set the trends. The Eagles are setting the trends there on position flexibility because it's not just Campbell and Mukuba who we drafted. Ty Robinson can do it as well in the draft. But a lot of guys, I mean, Pumpman loves him. Some Johnny Wilson can do multiple things. Jalen Carter could do multiple things on this team. You know, there's a lot of guys on the Eagles right now, especially, Cooper DeJean, inside, outside kind of guy. A lot of guys on this team. Even Zach Bond is a position versatility kind of guy. The Eagles love position versatility. It's the way of the future in the NFL, and the Eagles love it. And they're starting the trend there with that. A lot of Eagles fans are casuals. These dudes still believe Alex Singleton was good. I love it. I love it. Great comment, Pump. So good to have coaches that are looking to excel in their role and not looking to leave and be a head coach. That's the greatest part about Vic Fangio, that he's not trying to leave at any time. Love it, absolutely. And Kevin Patullo, I really needed my soda that I dropped. It's a little too early to drink beer, so it's not now at 12:12. But when I went live at 11 a.m., I wasn't getting drunk. Kevin Patullo might have some intentions of being head coach someday, but he ain't going anywhere anytime soon. This will be one of those off seasons where we can start building towards having these coaches for a couple of years. Tyler Booker is similar to Jordan Davis, big, powerful kid, but he struggles to keep his weight. Well, he's only 288 is his list weight, so I don't know. Ty Robinson's Tyler Booker. I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought you were talking about an Eagle there. Tyler Booker. I actually remember that kid when he went up when he was celebrating, the way he looked and his jacket he was wearing. He looked like a big, thick kid. Maybe with a weight issue. I'll make fun of weight issues. I struggle, mister, to keep my weight in check too. My weight fluctuates a little bit. It's hard. It's hard to keep that weight under control. Marshawn, Ty Robinson looks fast for his size. I think Ty Robinson is going to be a steal in the fourth round. Steal in the fourth round. I think he's going to, I bet you he plays 380 to 400 snaps next year. Maybe if he gets as good as I think he can get, maybe he ends up even out-snapping Jordan Davis next year. Booker, not no Jordan Davis, 9'9" versus 393. It don't compute. Booker had which one did Booker have? I don't even know. I thought Booker was a reach there, but I think Booker was a smart pick. I think the Cowboys had a good draft. I don't think they were as good as some of the other teams in the NFC. I think, like I said, Washington had a very good draft. The Giants drafted Abdul Carter, obviously. Jackson Dart, stupid. Cam Scatterbo, running back, okay. Marcus Mbao, Purdue guard, love that pick there. Great value there. Darius Alexander, solid pick. And then obviously Washington with Josh Connerly, solid. Trey Amos, solid. Jalen Lane, solid. I think they all had solid drafts. So the Eagles was a little bit better. Although, what did I write down about his age here? Already 24. I think he's definitely a little older. Maybe not my space old, but yeah. Booker had the. So you're telling me, based on your other comment, that Jordan Davis had a 9.9 ROES score? That's crazy. I didn't realize he was that smart. or that kind of level there. Only that think that concerns me of Ty Robinson. Doesn't sound like he likes football. He's pre-med. Yeah, he wants to go into pediatrics. So what was he? Are you saying you're concerned he's another Danny Watkins pump man? Is that what you're concerned about? No, I think at 24 years old. If he's good, I mean, he's going to be better talent and success wise than Danny Watkins. I hope. But yeah, maybe he goes and only plays 8 years, 10 years of football, and then gets into his medical career after that. Yeah, that's why Howie overdrafted Jordan Davis. Okay, gotcha. Did not realize that on the RAS score. He's a pre-med student. Jesus, he's going to scare them. He is a pre-med student. And they talked about how he wants to get into pediatrics when his football career is over. Yes, I believe he has his focus somewhere else. I just heard him talk about wanting to get into pediatrics. I don't know what his focus is or whatnot, but I do know he talked about pediatrics in one of the interviews. But yeah. Look, Ty Robinson's going to make an impact. Now, whether he's got that love of football like you guys are talking about, I don't know. We'll see in the coming days, coming weeks, coming months, coming years. But we'll see. But overall, I'm very happy, very excited. Yeah, Gasol chose being a ball player. Didn't he study to be a brain surgeon or something like that? I mean, he did study in Spain. So Spanish doctors are like janitors in the U.S. So that really doesn't count as much, Marshawn. But yeah, his whole family, the Gasol family, weren't his parents doctors as well? The Gasol family, I don't know about Mark Gasol, but I know Pau Gasol and his parents were both super, super smart and doctors and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't want to get worried about the pre-med stuff and the Danny Watkins comparison at all. I don't want to get into that worrying at all. Uh-oh. Text messages while I'm live on the air. That's never good. It's just a giant pharmacy. My prescriptions are ready. So anyway, didn't know how long we were going to go live. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. We can keep going. I got nothing going on. But I'm getting ready to start to wrap this up soon. Are you one of those analytics guys? Give me something about Davis' game you actually like. I actually like Jordan Davis. I think Jordan Davis is a solid player. Could be better, could be worse. I just don't know what the Eagles do with Jordan Davis. I'm more curious about what they do with Jordan Davis versus Dallas Goedert, personally. Marc Gasol was a throw-in for the Powell trade. Turned out to be the gem in that trade. Marc Gasol was a hell of a basketball player. Knew his role, knew what his skills were, and did well. Definitely a Jordan Davis fan, or Marc Gasol fan. Yeah, I'm all over the place here in conversation now. He's fat, so he clogs holes. He does. Look, Jordan Davis's weight is a concern, obviously. And I think it's a concern with the Eagles, and that is why they don't know what to do with him. John Dotson's fifth-year option already declined. They haven't done that with Jordan Davis yet. You got till May 1st. Actually, I think it's May 2nd. But they got like 6 days to decide what to do with the fifth-year option of Jordan Davis. They do. So that's something to worry about, something to think about, something that hasn't happened yet. So we'll see. I'm just going through Twitter right now to see if anything else new broke or happened. But nothing else has happened. Not drafting a one tech shows we are definitely extending Jordan Davis. So, Pump Man, what would you do? So here are the scenarios I laid out throughout the last couple of weeks on Jordan Davis, Brian. I said option one, you play out his fourth year, let him hit free agency and see what happens. Option two, you pick up his fifth-year option. It's like $14 million. It's too much. Option three, you try to extend him right now. See if you can convince him to take a 3-year, $20 million deal. But you know the other option about free agency next year, someone else will give him more than that. So that he would be smart enough to not accept that. Or option E, you trade him. Which option do you choose? To me, I try to trade him. And if not, I try to extend him cheaply, 3 years, $20 million. But outside of that, I don't know what else you could do with Jordan Davis. You can't give him a big money deal. You can't give him a long-term deal. But you also can't pay him $14, $16 million a year. He's a $6 to $8 million a year guy max, based off the current pay rate of guys. But if you let him hit free agency next offseason, he's a guy, a team that overpays on the first day of free agency for people, like the Patriots or the Titans or the Jags or whatever. Somebody like that will see the potential there and be like, we can unlock it. We'll give you $60 million. And they'll regret it right away. But there are teams out there that will do that. And I don't want it to be the Eagles. Now, you get a comp pick back, but pick up the fifth year, find his replacement next year. It's an expensive fifth-year option. Because the fifth-year option's next year, 2026, not 25. That's the year that you have to give a big pay raise to Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Where's that money come from? 15 million, whatever it is. It's a lot of money. I don't know if you can afford to pay him that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I would almost rather roll him out on year 4 and risk losing him than giving him that fifth-year option. I don't think he's a $14 million guy. I really don't. And I think they drafted Ty Robinson because they don't know what they're doing with him. I think every one of these picks tells a story. And the Ty Robinson pick tells something about the Jordan Davis story, that they're not sure what they're doing there. That's my opinion. But you never know. Well, we're up to 511 subscribers. So we've gained 4 new subscribers. There's 21 likes on this video. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Should have hit 30 likes because we had over 30 viewers a couple times. This is a fun Sunday brunch type show. Now I got to get back to chores at some point today. Laundry, shopping, cleaning. Got to get the window units in the dog apartments, the AC units in for them. One-tech DTs aren't that important. Most teams don't even run on first down. And if Jordan Davis can't pass rush, you can't risk playing him on third down. I actually think Jordan Davis can pass rush better than people realize. He doesn't get home, but he generates enough push that you've got to double team him. And it opens up lanes for other people. I think he's never going to have 5, 6, 7 sacks, but he's going to be utilized enough that he can actually help the defense get a lot of pressure, if that makes sense. Mister, that's just me. I don't think he's a total wash in pass rush. The thing is, he played 388 snaps last year. How many snaps do you need him to get to justify paying him what someone else probably would pay? 400? 500? Can he play 500 snaps? I don't think he can. 500 snaps, that's what, like 8 more snaps a game? In theory, honestly, he should be able to do that. If Jalen Carter could play 800 snaps in a season, if he could play 100% of snaps a game, then Jordan Davis has got to be able to play a little bit more, right? I know he's big. I know his conditioning is an issue. I don't know. I don't know what will happen. I don't know what they're going to do. But we'll find out over the next couple of weeks what they're going to do with that, for sure, in my opinion. All right, final thoughts, anybody? Anybody's final thoughts on the draft? We'll be back Tuesday, continuing this conversation, obviously with Phillies in the conversation as well, and what other news breaks over the next couple of days with the Eagles. But any of your final thoughts, now's the time to get it out. About 10 minutes, I'm going to wrap this show up. So any final thoughts you have on the draft? Again, I love it. I think the draft was a major success for the Eagles. I think the first 3 picks are 3 guys that are going to step in day one and be effective on this team. I think the league is going to be pissed off that Jihaad Campbell is now lining up next to Zach Bond and on this Eagles defense. I think Andrew Mukuba is going to be a big surprise. I think Ty Robinson is going to be a player next year in the NFL. I think it tells stories about Keely Ringo and Sidney Brown and Tyler Steen. And I'm glad I was right on one thing. And that was the no tight end was going to get drafted. They were the things that I was, excited about right there. The rest of the guys are what they are. Depth projects, the undrafted free agents, the running backs. We also picked up Taylor Morin from Wake Forest, a wide receiver. Max and Hook, again, bring that up. Quinion Mitchell's roommate in college and best friend. Oregon safety, Brandon Johnson. B.J. Miles, cornerback. Texas A&M, Lance Dixon, another Toledo kid. Slightly small linebacker. So they brought in a lot of different depth there in undrafted free agents as well. I think Jordan Davis can pass rush. He ran a 4.740, but he's always winded and can't put in maximum effort. I mean, is he always winded? I mean, he chased down Josh Allen from behind. I think there's something there. They just got to figure it out. I'm not sure what or how you figure it out or unlock it, but there's got to be a way to do it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it happens. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I would love to see it unlocked. I love, in theory, Jordan Davis. I think Jordan Davis has the potential, if they could figure out his conditioning, to be an unstoppable force. But Ty Robinson tells me that they don't know if he can be. Because in theory, if they did, Milton Williams snaps, Morojomo takes a bump up, and Jordan Davis takes a bump up. Ty Robinson tells me that they're not. So we'll see. Honestly, Ty Robinson at 24, probably the same age as Jordan Davis at this point. Honestly speaking. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. We're going to wrap this shebang up right there. Thank you all tuning in. Thank you, Mister, for breaking the super chat ice. Much appreciate that. Thank you to Kyle for the other thing, the Venmo. Much appreciate that as well. That was a surprise. I greatly appreciate that. We'll be back on Tuesday with obviously a lot more content, a lot more conversation on these picks. As I'm about to end it, a whole bunch of new people jumping in the YouTube room. So I'll hold on. If anybody that's jumping in the YouTube room before I wrap this stream up have any thoughts, you can drop them right now. Jordan Davis is just lazy. I don't know if he's lazy. I don't. We don't know that. I mean, it looks like it because he's never in shape. I think he came into shape last year, and we were hyping it up. I don't know. We'll see. I am considering going live again later tonight for Phillies. I don't know. We'll see how many beers I drink this afternoon while doing chores. But maybe we go live for the Phillies game tonight as well. Maybe. But most likely you won't see me again until Tuesday. Tomorrow, lots of catering at the pizza shop tomorrow. So there's that. The pizza shop pays the bills. Not this just yet. But anyway, we're going to wrap this baby up. Everybody, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Everybody have a great Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day. A little cool out there in the Delaware Valley. Only mid-60s today, a little breezy. But the sun is shining. Enjoy it. Do something fun. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel. This is the STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk. Didn't even get to talk about Tyrone Johnson, laid off from the fanny packs. Interesting little tidbit there in the media world. We'll write that down and cover that on Tuesday. Ty Johnson. We'll write that down. That'll be something we talk about later this week as well. But everybody have a great Sunday. We'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Go Birds! And bubbles up.